and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and today I just want to do a quick unboxing or a haul video of the Spellbinders May 2022 club kits that I'll be crafting with this month. I don't get all of the club kits, but let me show you the ones I do have, and later this month you will see more projects featuring these clubs. So the first one is the embossing folder of the month. If you are new to the Spellbinders embossing folder club kits, they come in this really large size. I love them. It's 5.5 this way by 8.5 this way, which is perfect because it's super versatile. If you like to make your slimline cards, this will allow you to emboss the entire panel in one go. Where in the past, because a slimline goes 8.5 wide or tall, just depending on the orientation, if you wanted to emboss it and you didn't have a slimline size embossing folder, you just had the regular maybe USA 2 size folder, you would actually have to emboss that panel twice. But this one folder will allow you to emboss multiple panel sizes. So your slimlines covered, your mini slimlines covered, 5x7s you can emboss for, USA 2 size of course, and if you add some mats and layers, you can even emboss a panel for a 6x6 card too. So very versatile. Love the embossing folder monthly club kit. And the design this month is it's really different. It's sort of, what it reminds me of is dandelion flowers, like an abstract sort of dandelion flower with the kind of pinwheel design there. So really lovely that. So that is the embossing folder of the month. Next up is the small die of the month. This is a stitching die. So you've got really lovely design that you can, or if you don't want to, you don't have to, stitch these flowers and all of that lovely detail, but the die does emboss those lines in as well. So if you didn't want to do the stitching, you could just leave it and it would look beautiful because it gives the impression of those stitch lines anyway. And because it's got that sort of debossed detailing, if you didn't want to stitch, you could even just draw lines with like a fine liner marker and draw those lines in to give the impression of stitching in a different color, for example, if you wanted. So I think that's kind of cool. And then you've got some individual elements too that you could die cut, stitch, and lay on top. So like this flower petal here, I think mimics that shape there, and this one up here too. So one of the things I was thinking that you could maybe do is, if you didn't want to stitch the entire thing, you could die cut out this design and leave that unstitched, and then die cut out this separately and just stitch this part so that it becomes a little bit of a focal point, and you can just use this in the few areas where it matches up. So I think it lines up here, I think it lines up there. Maybe it's too big for this area here, but it could work. And similarly, there's the petal that you can overlay onto the larger pattern, and this as well, which I don't think directly matches up with anything. Oh, here it is. So there's that. There's probably another one somewhere that I haven't found, but that's cool. That's always an option. And then there is as well the letters that will spell out hello, and they also have some deboss detailing, that sort of stripy detail. So you have the individual letters. They do cut out, but on the backing plate with the design here, it doesn't actually cut. There's space for you to drop the letter dies in, but it doesn't actually cut out that aperture looking at it, it cuts out kind of around it a little bit. So this die actually can serve as a bit of a backing plate for your letters. So you can actually overlay them on top, and there would be a little bit of an outline of in the color that you've die cut the main decorative panel out of. So that works really well. Would probably be fun to make shaker cards using this die. So that's going to be a fun one to craft with. Then the large die of the month I love because it's all word dies, and it's awesome. There's just nothing more to say than that. It's just awesome. It's really, really versatile because we get the individual letters as dies that will cut out, and this even has the that gorgeous kind of pinwheel stitching. So everything, kind of matches in a sense, where you'll see elements of the same kind of that pinwheel pattern across many of these, and so you can mix and match and everything's gonna look really good together. But you have this large word U, and so you've got the individual letters that spell out U, and then you have the outline die that will cut out the backing plate or the shadow layer for it. So that's awesome, and that's going to be true of all of these words. You'll get the individual letters, and then you'll get the an outline die that will cut out a backing plate for it. So here you have from me to you. And what's nice about these smaller ones is that the font is all the same. So I think that's awesome, because then you can really start to mix and match the letters from each of these words to create new words. And I think there is sort of a slightly larger letter for sort of the capital letters. So I think B is maybe not with the B, but the M here is slightly larger than the E, and I think the F is a capital. B might be a capital letter. Here on the back side it's a little bit more obvious, like the T is a little bit larger, the H is a little bit larger. So here you have the words hello, happy, and thanks. So lots and lots of letters. Now they're gonna be maybe slightly differently sized, but they're all sort of that same kind of slanty font, skinny font. And so I think you'll still be able to mix and match them pretty well. And I'm gonna have a little bit of a play just to see what other words I can create using all of these letters. So that's a cool one and super versatile, because there are sentiments in here that are really easy to use all year round. So really fantastic. So that's the large die of the month. And then we have the APG die of the month, and this is really adorable. It's basically you can make one of the 3D pop-up style cards, and this one is actually sort of like in the shape of an oven, which is adorable. And you even have this die plate here that cuts out the words or the phrase "what's bacon," and then the second option is "hey cookie," and you've got a little cookie sheet here. You've got kind of like the burner, like a stove burner there. This is the oven door. You have the elements that will actually cut out the sort of the shadow box slots that these panels would slot into. And then you've got sort of the what's it called? I want to say grill plate, but it's not. It's the rack, the oven rack, and all of that detail is just fantastic. And then here you've got like the knobs, I think, on your oven, and then lots of little sort of baking, cooking accessories, and in sort of the style where, you know, you might hang the utensils off of something. But this little rectangle, when I see dies like that, um, those are great for cutting your slider tracks. So it's really nice to have little dies like that because you can use them in a lot of different ways, and having little circle dies like that can be useful as well. So, you know, think of your dies as just basic shapes. A lot of times you can use them for different purposes too. So that's a fun one. I think that'll be really cute to craft with. And then the last club kit that I have is the clear stamp and die of the month. So this one is actually kind of different. So it's kind of those spools, those cards that you have that you can kind of wrap your embroidery floss around. So it kind of goes with the whole idea of stitching. And if you you can actually use these for that purpose, because there is the die that will cut that out, and it even cuts out the little slot where you would kind of tuck the tail end when you're done wrapping it around, or when you start wrapping it, you can even tuck it there so that you know where the ends are. And that's really cool because I've purchased sets of these, but it's kind of nice to now have the die that you can die cut your own out. And so that's a very like useful die to have. If you have your embroidery floss that you want to keep organized, because it even has cuts out the little hole there, so you can imagine putting it through one of those kind of the ring binders, and then just keep all of your floss on a ring binder. Then there are these 3 oddly shaped dies which coordinate with the stamped words. So you have together like needle and thread. That's a unique one. Stitch with love. Oh, that's perfect for all of your stitching cards. And then this one is you have me in stitches. So that's really cute. And then if you're using this for, I guess, practical purposes, you have number and then an underscore. So if you want to kind of, if there is like the DMC number on your embroidery floss, you could stamp those onto these cards and then just make note. And that way, if you run out and you want to reorder a particular color, you'll know what color that is. So I think there's really good sort of practical use for these. And if I was using it just for practical purposes of spooling my thread, I wouldn't actually go to the trouble of stamping this outline. I would just die cut it and maybe stamp this on there so that I know. But you can use these images for your card making too, to make a themed card. So that's pretty cool. And then this is kind of nice for if you want to kind of swatch out your inks. You could do that because you've got the nice solid stamp here, and so you can just stamp different colors and then maybe write the name of the color as well. So that's a cute one. That's pretty unique. I haven't seen anything like that, and so I think that one's going to be another fun one to craft with. So those are the club kits that are for, that I have anyways, for May. And when I craft with these items, I'll be sure to link to those videos in the description box below and at the end of this video as well. And if nothing else, I do also have a Spellbinders playlist. So if you go to my channel and you check out all the various playlists, I have a Spellbinders playlist, and so you can always find my Spellbinders makes in that playlist as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye!